Ah, hi. I'm Michael Foreman, author. Welcome to the dungeon and my little pit of despair from which all my dark fiction is written. Today I've got some great news. Some of the best news I've been able to give you for some time. Today I finished editing the first draft of the next novel. There it is. Ta-da! I know it doesn't look like much, but to me it's fantastic. Look, doesn't even have a title on it, but it's all been edited. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, well, let's read the novel. Let's get it going. Put it on the bookshelf so I can get it, take it off and read it. Doesn't happen that easily. I would love to say, look, let's put a title on it, a graphic on the front cover, and put it on the bookshelf so that you can go ahead and read it. But unfortunately, that's only the first, actually it's the second part of the process. The first part of the writing process of any novel is getting the novel written. So that was the first draft, and then it goes through the editing process. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who are readers who don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, but the editing is just as big, if not bigger, than the writing of the first draft. So what will happen now is we will print out another one of these manuscripts with all the edits included, and we'll go through it once again. And this may happen 3 or 4 or 5 times. In the case of Seethings, my first novel, it was 13 times before it became a published novel. I hope not to go through 12 more processes to get this one to where it's going. But it gives you some indication as to how much work is being done behind the scenes before you read your novels. So, what's this novel about, you're probably wondering? Well, it's a continuation of Seethings. In Seethings, we found our serial killer. We understood how they came to be and what they were going to do and what they did. Now we're going to take that serial killer and give them some real-life circumstances to encounter. So it takes to the water. We go on a boat for a little bit of a sail, and a boat is a perfect place to have a serial killer, because when you get on the boat with a serial killer, you've got nowhere else to go. The problem that we have when we come to writing subject matter of that type is boats have a limited way of getting around. There are a certain amount of ports within a certain range. So if you get a murder happening over here, it would be assumed that the next part of an investigation would happen at ports somewhere nearby, because that's your closest access point to the water. So really, when it comes to writing these books of mine, you might call them psychological thrillers. It's important to make sure that the plots link properly, that we don't leave any major holes in the narrative that you can pick up on and then write to me about and say, look, it couldn't have happened at this particular time because they were supposed to be doing this or they were supposed to be doing that. And that's much of what the editing process is all about. It's not just about checking for typos and spelling mistakes and issues of grammar, but it's also about checking the plots and making sure that the characters are well developed, that you can relate to them, that they feel tangible, and they would be doing the things that they were doing, saying the things that they were saying, and going to the places they're going to, motivated by their own particular ambitions and their fears, which we all have to some degree, different in certain individuals, certainly. You do get people who are a little bit more greedy, and you get other folks who are a little bit more fearful of nature and of animals and people. You get introspective people. You also get extroverted individuals. And so we've got to make sure that all of these character types, or not all of them are represented, but in the narrative, they make sense and they're tangible. That you, if you met them, would believe in them. So that's what all that's about. Now, I said to you it's a psychological thriller. a lot of people write to me about my content, and they refer to that content as being psychological, thrilling in nature. It's not technically accurate to use the word psychological thriller. I think if you were encountering it for the first time, that's where you'd put the label. It's actually called neo-noir erotica or neo-noirotica. I don't use it a lot when I'm doing my promotional stuff because, frankly, nobody knows what neo-noir is. For those who are interested, neo means now, and noir means black or dark fiction. And erotica, I think, is self-explanatory. So when you bring the three of them together into neo-noir erotica, what you're basically talking about, and the noir element, I didn't finish off with that, noir means that you're following the perpetrator, not the investigator, not the investigation. So we're not following the police around trying to solve a puzzle in that respect. We are now getting inside the head of the killer and finding out what motivates them so that we can better understand them. It's a different way of reading crime or crime novels. It was most popular in the 50s and the 60s. It has had a resurgence from time to time with movies and books like Shutter Island. But this is a new one, a new kind of neo-noir erotica. So there's a lot of sex and relationship stuff in it, and obviously crime and murder. Anyway, so what's going to happen is we'll print this out a second time, go through that process, maybe a third, maybe a fourth time to get it right, and then we'll start having a look at things like the title, and we'll look at things like the cover. Obviously, it's got to be kept inside that. It's got to feel like what it is before you open up the page. So it'll probably be a dark cover of some sort with splashes of red, which is why I end up wearing a lot of red shirts in some of my YouTube videos. What else can I tell you about it? Not much. I don't get online very often and tell people what I'm doing. I mean, you do see stuff on the Instagram feed, what we're doing behind the scenes. And when I say we, it's me. I'm doing most of the writing, and my partner Margot is doing quite a lot of the assistant work in editing. And we often have little talks about where the novel should go. We talk about things like the title, when the title starts to come up into play. And we'll make decisions based on that. But a lot of it's myself sitting behind a computer doing what I'm doing right now, writing the novels, and also managing the website at mfp.com.au/yourthroat. You can come there and have a look at some of the content that's currently being displayed. Also, there are podcasts there. A lot of audio tracks are recorded through this little microphone, this little fuzzy thing you see in the bottom part of your screen, and they get delivered up to the Dirty Rabbit Hole podcast. And we've got 3 channels for that. We've got the dark fiction writing. We've also got a section on the sexless marriages, because that's so much part of the narrative from which I write. And also the erotic side of my writing, which is its counterpoint. If you've got a sexless marriage, you've also probably got a lot of erotica happening as its opposite to balance out the system. Anyway, so you could do a search on the internet or go to iTunes, wherever you currently listen to your podcasts, and type in the words Michael Foreman, Dirty Rabbit Hole Podcast, and you'll be able to listen to some of the tracks that I pop out there in sound. I don't have many videos. I don't like getting online and saying, look, you know, I've just reached the 2,000 word mark, or I've finished writing chapter 2. I know there are a lot of people who do that, especially on Twitter. If you follow any of the Twitter feeds, a lot of authors just like to get online and rabbit on about nothing, really. In fact, they'll sometimes say, I've got nothing to say. I'm too tired. I'm going to bed. See ya. I sometimes bash my head against the computer and go, why are you writing this? Why are you writing anything like, I've got 2,000 words down today. I can't wait to get to tomorrow. That'd be like a builder going, well, I just laid 10,000 bricks. I can't wait to get out there and lay another 10,000 tomorrow. I've got a wall now. Writing is what it is. For most of our readers, they don't get to see what we're doing, how it gets done. these little videos do give you a little glimpse into the writer, the author, and also things like second rewrites and third rewrites and so forth. But it doesn't give you the complete picture. It's only a small snippet of it. And it does help, because you think about it, 20 years, 30 years ago, you didn't have things like YouTube, you didn't have things like podcasts or the internet, websites, blogs, and all this sort of business. But you can find out a lot more about authors today through technology and things like these videos and podcasts and websites, and yeah, get a good idea of what's going on in an author's head before you start reading their writing. You want to make sense, or you want to make sure that these people make sense in their own minds. So I don't get online and say, look, I've just finished chapter 5, or I've just thought of the new title, or what do you think of my new cover? I don't do things like that. I just tend to sit in the background, spending most of my time writing, spending most of my time developing characters and interesting storylines. And then when I've got something interesting to say, that's when I'll make a video or a podcast and send it out to the world. Or maybe even do something on Instagram. You will see very infrequently photos of the manuscript, or photos of me writing, or coming up with a new idea, or photographing something. But you don't often get me just doing day-to-day stuff. You've got to really scratch around and find the material. But now that you're here, and you're on YouTube, and you're watching me, you can be updated with the latest and greatest of what's going on. So today, we're the earliest parts of August 2019. I know I'd love to say to you that this will be out by Christmas time, or even early next year, but every time I've said that in the past, it's never happened. So, yeah, really just this video is an update of what's happening right now. I'd like to think that it'll be out, say, by March next year. I would even love to say by Christmas this year, but it probably won't happen, because the editing process is a very long process. We're working as an independent publisher here, as well as doing our own things, like, you know, we all have jobs. Well, we both have jobs. We all have jobs. My cat doesn't have a job. I keep saying we all. That's a third person. Sometimes a third person to us, but he doesn't have a job except lying around sleeping all day. He's over there sleeping right now in the window box. Anyway, come to my website, www.nfp.com.au/yourthroat for more information. You can actually see this video. If you are seeing this video through YouTube, you can come to my website and pick up on all the rest of the guff that goes along with my work. Anyway, that's it. I hope wherever you are in the world, you're having a really great day. Come back again and, I don't know, watch, listen to my excerpts from the dungeon, my little pit of despair from which I write all this dark fiction. Go out to Amazon.com and order yourself a copy of Seethings, which is currently on sale. You can also get it as a Kindle, so if you read it on your laptop, or you like to read books on your phone or your iPad or your tablet, you can do it almost right away. You can be reading the content in that novel within seconds of watching this video. I hope you have a great day. See ya.